Huh. Good morrow, scholars. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm not really sure what that was. Okay, so I didn't get a chance to record a review of sorts for the Goosebumps movie that I went with my mom and my sister to go see. Now, this was supposed to be somewhat of a birthday present for her since her birthday is going to be on Wednesday and I'm working that night. So I wanted my brother and my other sister to go with us so that it'd be like the first family outing we've had, minus Joseph, in a really long time, especially since my sister's been back. We really haven't had a chance to have the whole family there together. Hopefully, when Star Wars comes out, because my dad said that even he would be willing to go see the movie in theaters, which he never does. The last movie he went to go see in theaters, I doubt I remember, but I want to say it was the Friday the 13th movie, the fifth one, I think it was. Whichever is the one that Jason came back because of the lightning strike. I remember him telling me how everyone in the theater groaned when the lightning hit. Did you know, just real quick, that Jason Voorhees was written and the movies were paying homage to whatchamacallit, Halloween, the original one with Michael Myers? I thought that was really interesting when I found that out. But back to Goosebumps. Now, I really enjoyed the film. There's like nothing really wrong with it. It felt like an episode of the show, which is funny because it had more in common with the books than it did the TV show of the same name. For instance, for those of you that are old enough to remember Goosebumps, the TV show, series, whatever, there was the episode The Werewolf of Fever Swamp, who makes an appearance in this movie. And that's not a spoiler because, well, actually it is a spoiler, but the trailer shows us very prominently the Werewolf of Fever Swamp. Sorry, I had to fill up the thing with water. I like filtered water, it tastes better, never mind. But in the TV show, Silver doesn't work on werewolves. The werewolf of Fever Swamp, who befriends Will, spoilers in case you never read that one, but it's been like 15 years, I'm sure someone, if you were going to read it by now, you would have read it. I've forgotten the kid's name who was the original werewolf of Fever Swamp, but he mentions how the werewolves said that Silver is a lie they made up about werewolves to kill them so that poor people wouldn't go hunting for werewolves because they couldn't afford silver to kill them with. And in this movie, I think it's been long enough that if you wanted to see it, you would have. And if you haven't, it's not too big of a spoiler, I suppose, but one of the characters uses silver on the werewolf of Fever Swamp, and he starts to turn back to normal, it looked like. There's so many Easter eggs in this movie. There's the scarecrow that walks at midnight. They had the attack of the jack-o'-lanterns reference. The cuckoo clock of doom gets an appearance, so to speak. The lawn gnomes from Revenge of the Lawn Gnomes. That one was a good one. Stay out of the basement. The plants came back. The executioner from the Night in Terror Tower is seen in one of the pan shots of all the boat monsters after they've been released. And of course there's Slappy. Now Slappy was easily the most disturbing aspect of this film. There's no getting around that. It scared my mom, it scared me. I had a nightmare. My mom probably had a nightmare if she ever got to sleep. Sorry, just I heard something click, so I got nervous. It made me think Slappy. So Slappy's always been the most disturbing monster that I've ever had to read about in Goosebumps. If you and personally, I don't know if you guys would feel the same. In fact, why don't we turn this into a little game? Everyone in the comments, you go down, tell me what your favorite Goosebumps book was and your favorite monster from Goosebumps. They don't have to be from the same thing. For instance, if you liked Slappy the best as the best monster, but your favorite book was The Haunted Mask, perfectly fine. Now, it's mentioned somewhere I was reading on TV Tropes that Carly Beth is in the movie, but not in human form. It's when she's still with the mask on. And I didn't see it, the Haunted Mask, anywhere, so I'm gonna look for screenshots of the white shots and see if I can't find her or the Haunted Mask anywhere. Because I feel like Carly Beth wouldn't be a part of the Haunted Mask, although I guess because of the cover. I feel so bad though. I mean, would Carly Beth, the character, be aware, or is it just a Haunted Mask? Hmm, that's an interesting conundrum. And Carly Beth was one of my favorite protagonists of the series. I know she's probably the most popular universally, and one of the most hated, if because he's annoying, is Evan from Monster Blood. Monster Blood should have made an appearance. Can you imagine if the Shocker on Shock Street, the praying mantis, got a hold of some monster blood and grew to gigantic size comparatively to its already gigantic size? That would have been awful. Oh, but back to Slappy real quick. About halfway through the film, well, I say halfway through the film, halfway from Slappy being introduced to, whatever, the end, I guess, I realized Jack Black is voicing Slappy. And his laugh is really disturbing. If you guys are familiar with the Joker from, shoot, the Lego movies over there, on the Lego movies, it sounded like that, and it was really disturbing. So it got me thinking, maybe Jack Black should voice the Joker sometime. I mean, we've already had John DiMaggio, and he did a fantastic job. You guys remember when he played Zumbozo the Clown? I think that was his name. From Ben 10? Never mind. Let's see. Yeah, there are a lot of interesting twists. The type, I mean, I hate to say it because it sounds like something said in the movie. But you could really tell that it was inspired by the Goosebumps books, and I was very surprised and delighted when I saw that most of the audience when we went were people my age or older, just coming back and reminiscing, and just the nostalgia factor of their childhoods to come see this movie. And it did a fantastic job capturing that, what do you call it, that childhood essence of the books. Like I said, it played as one of the episodes of the show, just with a way bigger budget and better acting, but the same kind of story depending on which episode. The Haunted Mask, for instance, was a really good one. There are a few misses, however, such as The Curse of the Mummy, I think it was, where the father, you can plainly tell, is in front of a backdrop. But all in all, it really felt like a Goosebumps story, and I really hope that someone decides to make a sequel, because as R.L. Stine was very well known for, which they mentioned in the movie. He's what do you call it? Well, he's kind of like, well, I don't want to say he's like M. Night Shyamalan, but his books always had a twist. Well, I guess not always, but sometimes I guess you could say that the twist was not having a twist. You know, there are books where it turns out the character or the point of view character was the monster all along. There's some where the character does something they thought that had done something right, and then it turns out that that's what causes the monster to get them. Such as Don't Go Into the Basement, where they finally escape the house and finally get the letter, and then it says don't go out into the swamp after dark because there are monsters out there, and they're so far away from their house that there's no guarantee they'll make it back. You know, things like that, or The Beasts from the East. That was a good one. I think that's about it. I kind of gushed a little bit too much about the original Goosebumps books. I'm actually going to try and find them all. Maybe not the original ones, but it would be nice to have the books again. If only so that any children I may have in the future, well, not me physically myself have children, so they can read them and I can pass on a little bit of my childhood. I was so depressed when my mom sold all those books. I mean, we needed money and you know, all that, but still, that's such an important part of my childhood. I was only missing 2 of the original series. So depressing. Okay, well, I'm done rambling for today. Hopefully, look forward to my reading of Life and Death: Twilight Reimagined. If you are interested in the channel for that, or if you're not, you know, help me find some stuff that I can do, not to replace it, but so that you'd be more interested in watching. I'm trying to do a lot more skits and vlogs, I guess, is what's going on here. I know I started out as a gaming channel, but nobody was really interested, and Iggy's been too rambunctious for me to really use him. I guess I could just record his face for a while and use it as the face cam, so I don't have to worry about that. Let me know if you'd be interested in watching Iggy play video games. But until next time, goodbye everybody.